right now. Go. Neutrally.
Good.
All right. Sorry about that, you guys. And so we're just going to go ahead and pick it up right there. Of course, this is what happens when you live stream. And if you guys are just chiming in, we're talking about why right now is the time to get started and what you should be doing to basically make the most of this crisis, because there's so many opportunities going on right now. You know, Sean and I, we started Video Influencers because we want to help you crush it on YouTube with online video. And there's a lot of things going on in the world. So Sean's going to jump on here in a second, and we're going to get started again. But, you know, some of the points that we already made about why right now is a time you should be paying attention to, why it's one of the greatest times to start YouTube. Number one, there's more people consuming content than ever before. It's just nuts because everyone's at home, right? People have nothing to do. And if you don't have work and work's not letting you work remotely or work from home, then you're going to watch stuff. You know, Netflix, YouTube, the biggest streaming platforms right now growing like massively. Obviously Netflix, partly because so many people already have Netflix, right? YouTube, because it's free. So take advantage of that fact and get in front of those views. Like I said, consumption is up. Number two, ad revenue. Even in the midst of this crisis, businesses need to get in front of people. So they're spending on ad revenue, whether it's on YouTube or other platforms. And, you know, we've seen a huge spike. So even though CPMs are going up, and some people would say, like, in some cases it's going down, ad revenue is still very strong. And if you consider how crazy the economy is right now and the downturn, it's still a great resource. And moving forward, it's not like it's going to go down. In fact, as the economy gets better, people are going to be spending more money to get in front of the people because consumption is up and more people are going to be consuming. Third, e-commerce. More online spending than ever before. And that's crazy because if you aren't somebody that's referring products, getting in front of it, you're going to miss out on this opportunity to take advantage of affiliate marketing, right? Referring products and getting paid for that referral. And we've already seen, I think, about a 50% growth in 2019 already. Sean, I know we're just jumping right back in here, but there's so many different reasons why people should be paying attention. Where do you want to take it from here?
Yeah, I think the next couple tips, and we want to share 6 tips of why now is why now is the time to go all in, and then 5 tips of exactly what to do to be getting views. But the next one is the fact that unemployment is rising, but people are looking for opportunity. Benji, what are your thoughts there?
Well, this is the thing. I want to share with you guys how Sean and I met and why that was planting the seed for Video Influencers and so much more. You know, Sean and I met at the worst time of our lives financially, and this is around 2010, a couple years after the real estate market crash. And that's when we started to partner together on different projects. For my vlog channel, Sean and I had some other projects outside of that. And then finally, we started Video Influencers in 2015. And then basically 10 years after meeting each other, we've got this channel, 500,000 subscribers. He's crushing on Think Media. I'm still vlogging daily, 5 days a week. And so the reason I bring that up, that partnership started during an economic crisis. When real estate crashed, the financial district was just completely obliterated. And right now is no different. So think about this. This high unemployment means that there's so many people, not just desperate for jobs, but maybe looking to create new opportunities, right? Pursue things they haven't before. So whether it's you hiring all these skills that are out there, all these people with experiences to be able to be part of your team, right? To help scale up your business, or partner with somebody. And, this is why I talk about our VI story, which starts way before the channel. You never know what seeds are going to be planted. So keep your eyes open, because there are people right now, because of the lockdown, because they can't work remotely, maybe because they already got laid off, that's looking for opportunities. And this is your opportunity to not only give them a job and a paycheck, but potentially create something that you couldn't before, just because there's so much resources. The next thing I want to mention is home-based businesses, working from home, businesses letting people work more remotely, lifestyles around having a home office, connecting through Zoom, conference calls, like that's not going to go away. So there's a lot of opportunities for new niches. I know that a lot of people are desperate to set up their live stream like we've got at home. So that has skyrocketed in terms of search and people consuming content around that. Sean, I know I just dropped 2 points of what's going on right now and why people should be paying attention. And we're going to be talking about how to act on these. Anything you want to add to those last 2 points?
Yeah, you're exactly right, Benji. It's just the time, influencers, to reinvent yourself. It's the time to pivot. And I know it can be overwhelming mentally, and especially maybe if you were going in one direction and your industry has been disrupted, or even your skill set, but this is the time to develop new skills. And when Benji shares our story, I believe we're fortunate to go through the crash and the recession of 2008 and 2009, because it changed our perspective. It changed who we were as men. It changed our families. And this is an opportunity to change yourself. It's kind of a wake-up call to say, man, am I diversifying my income? Am I building an online asset? That's what a YouTube channel is. YouTube is freedom. YouTube is authority. YouTube is influence. YouTube is something that's like a fine wine. It gets better with age. And you want to invest in YouTube. And even if you're starting from scratch, are we saying that if you start YouTube right now, that overnight you're going to get results, or that it's going to save your finances in 1 month? No, it won't. You just need the wake-up call right now to be going all in on YouTube, so that you're ready for the next thing that happens in 3 years, or for the next thing that happens in 6 years, whether we go on a good economy or whether it becomes wavy and unpredictable from here on out. You have to be planting your flag, building your influence, and really establishing something home-based or something online. And that's what Benji's saying. Now is absolutely the time to be doing that. I think also, Benji, you've got another point here based on history. There's been some accurate predictions that the real effects of this thing are going to be felt for years. And so I don't think it's good to wait. The wrong response right now is to wait and say, I'm just going to see how this thing plays out. And once it plays out, I'm going to make my decision. No, you got to go act now to say, I got to get this live stream thing set up. I got to figure out how to get on camera. I got to figure out how to just plug a mic in. What is my niche? What is my genius? What is my topic? What can not only be something that I'm passionate about, but something that can also be profitable? Now is the time to go all in. We're talking about 6 reasons to go all in. I hope you're getting fired up, and I hope you're getting some value. So hit the like button if you are. But now is the time to go all in. And Benji, history kind of repeats itself, and I think we can learn some lessons.
Yeah, for sure. In 1918, we had a pandemic called the Spanish flu. Sound a little familiar? It's similar to what's going on right now, but it was horrible in terms of deaths, but very similar in terms of what happened to the world. Everybody got shut down. Masks became a normal thing. But the reason I like to bring this up is because, yes, Sean is correct. We can learn a lot from history. But in San Francisco, a man who actually lived through that was interviewed not too long ago, and he said it took 4 years before people felt comfortable to go back to churches, right? Felt comfortable to go to sporting events, get back to normal life. And that was way back then. Now, whether it's less time now or the same, I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if maybe it's like half the time, right? But still, that's 2 years. Even a quarter of time is a whole year. You've got a whole year, number one, to make the most of this opportunity that we have right now, and also adjust your strategy. Point being, a lot of people are looking to get the economy back going, get back to regular life, but I don't think regular life is anywhere near us right now. So ask yourself, how are you going to adjust to the times and honestly plant the seeds for the rest of the future? Because I do believe there's going to be a new norm, and it's something that we need to consider. The last point I want to make about why right now is the time to start YouTube is it's a level playing field. You know what's so crazy? Everybody has to stay at home. In fact, if you create content like in the way you normally did, whether you're a celebrity making movies or maybe you have a show and you host, a live audience, like it's almost taboo right now, right, Sean? Where you can't really have people or even these huge teams. So I wanted to use an example of late night hosts. If you look at their shows right now, they're nowhere near what they usually are. In fact, some of them are using webcams on their laptop, okay? And they don't have whole production teams. It's these kind of like jerry-rigged, systems using Skype and Zoom, like the random guy outside, not it's her producer for Ellen, but even Jimmy Fallon, who is probably the top of his game and the lead in terms of late night hosts, is a one-man band. This is your chance to outperform those people, be at a level playing field. It doesn't matter how many millions of dollars of production equipment they have or the crazy professional teams. What I'm seeing right now, and Sean, I would love to hear your thoughts on this, is one-man band YouTubers, including myself right here, which I don't even have the normal team I have in this studio. Like I have to do this by myself. I'm able to produce higher quality content than some of these celebrities are because, again, this is normal for us. So if you're a content creator, if you're a YouTuber, if you got a channel where you create content so regularly and you think it's good content for YouTube, but actually when you look at the whole scope of entertainment in general, you might have a leg up because you're already used to working by yourself. Sean, this is kind of a crazy time to say that there's legit A-list celebrities that are down in YouTube with us and having to do everything by themselves. I'm sure they've got one person there, but very similar production levels to what people have at home.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Benji. And I think that's the opportunity. We are saying now is the time to go all in with YouTube. Is it going to be easy? That's not what we're saying. We're saying it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it because you're planting the seeds today for the harvest that you want to reap tomorrow. And so we got 5 tips for you in a second, but here's the 6 tips recap. Number 1, why go all in? Because content consumption's up. Nielsen told us 63% more people are watching content. You got to be creating content. YouTube still netted $4 billion in ad revenue. That means creators got $5 billion of that paid to them. And that was even during this tough time. So you got to be creating content. Number 3, e-commerce order volume has increased 50% compared to last year. People are looking for opportunity right now. Number 4. And number 5, home-based work. You got to reposition yourself. You got to figure out an online offer. You got to figure out how to live stream from home, create content from home. Be flexible. Blessed are the flexible, those who bend and don't break. Even if you're going to go back to some kind of brick and mortar business, you need an online offer, an online presence, because this thing may not be ending anytime soon. And even if it does, you want to have multiple flows, multiple opportunities, multiple ways of generating revenue so you can provide and fight for your family, your community, and your future. And number 6, this leads us into the next 5 points. It's a level playing field. Look, if you got a smartphone and a pile of shoeboxes, you can start creating content right now. Should you level up your production value? Sure, but you can start with what you have. Ready is a lie. Start before you're ready. Punch fear in the face, punch perfectionism in the face, and press record. You got to make bad videos to get to your good videos, but you got to start and publishing content just like we started over 10 years ago. And Benji, our first videos were terrible, but thank God we started during a recession. We started when our lives were disrupted, when our finances we just had total havoc in them. But it was honestly a gift. And I think that's one way to look at this. Don't misunderstand me, influencers. You know, this pandemic is bad, but a perspective could be that it actually is a gift. What's the gift? A gift of a wake-up call, a gift of thinking about things differently, a gift of seeing how precious life is, a gift of cherishing time with your friends and family, but also a gift of potentially reinvention reinventing yourself and thinking about maybe what I thought was so secure isn't so secure. I can learn new skills. I can pivot my plan. I can adapt right now. And I'm going to look for the good and the hidden opportunity in the middle of this obstacle. And so, Benji, I'm excited. Let's talk about 5 tips on how people can pivot their plan right now to really maximize what content creators should be doing during this time.
For sure. And so the first tip that we have for you guys in pivoting your plan to make the most of this pandemic, and the first tip is create more content than you consume. This is such a simple tip, yet I can even say I fall into the trap of consuming more content than I create, especially like if you're down and out, maybe feeling a little depressed, you want to get your mind off of some of the stresses of work or lost revenue, turn on YouTube, watch a whole bunch of videos, go to Twitter, look at the information about the virus and everything. But what we would say is really start the day and focus on creating content first before consuming. And this is very, very simple. And a great example of this is this business owner named Kenji Lopez. He has some restaurants and they all got shut down, of course. And he didn't even skip a beat. He turned on his camera and look at him. He just put on a GoPro above on his head, literally showing what he's cooking. And daily he's making content about what he eats and he's making these food videos. And this is a restaurant owner. This isn't his main thing, but he's creating the content because people are consuming it. And so I use that example because you don't even have to overthink it. You can simplify the process. And even though it's not high quality production, I'm watching his videos every single day. I'm being inspired. So ask yourself, are you creating content more so than consuming content? Sean, I know you've got a lot of thoughts on this topic. Why is this such an important principle that people need to inherit into their lives, especially right now?
Yeah, Benji, I think that, the key to succeeding on YouTube is posting videos on YouTube. Man, who would have thought, right? But I mean, that's just one of the things that sometimes we're maybe even watching channels like this and some of our friends like Nick and Tim and Daryl, and we're learning and we're journaling and we're strategizing, but are you posting videos? And tell us in the comments, like, how many videos are you posting per week right now? Are you even committed to one per week right now? And how can you maybe double down on creating content? Creators create. We're not saying don't consume. Come on, we're reading, we're studying, we're leveling up. Plus, we're trying to relax right now. We're spending more time. I know Benji and Judy, they're watching Netflix stuff. Sonia and I just discovered Killing Eve. That's crazy, man. I'm busting through Final Fantasy VII Remake. Come on, you still got to take some time to relax and get some stress off. But yeah, I would recommend, if you want to see the impact of this, you got to be creating more than you consume. And Benji, we've been doing this like crazy over at Think Media. What's amazing in our particular niche is you can actually see in our views right here what happened during the lockdown. This is a 90-day view of our Think Media channel. And we were getting around 62,000 views a day. And then as soon as the lockdown started, you can just see how the views began to increase. Now, this was because we had a library of ranked videos and a lot of stuff happening from the past. But here's another thing that I want people to see. Here's 2 videos in a week. Here's 3 videos in a week. And to be fair, friends, like, there's a couple people working at Think Media. We have a team over there and a couple different content creators. But this was what our full-time team was doing, was like 2 videos a week, 3 videos a week. This thing happened and I was like, yo, y'all, we got to create more than we consume. We got to double down. So now you can see we went to 5 to 7 videos a week is what this averages out to. We posted 29 videos in April. So not only are more people at home consuming content is what we could see here, but we did not take it for granted to say, we're not just going to chill out during this lockdown. We are going to double down and create content. We started 3 new shows. I now do a show called Coffee with Cannell where I do a Q&A show on Facebook Live and I multi-stream it to Think Marketing as well. We did a bi-weekly Q&A show on the Think Marketing channel. We started a new VRA show inside of our private Facebook group. We are creating content. We're practicing what we preach, and the results have been matching the effort that we're putting in. Now, if you're just starting, you're not going to necessarily see a mountain of growth. In fact, our new channel, it doesn't have that mountain because we didn't have the library of videos. By the way, Benji, video influencers, same result. We've been putting in work for years planting seeds that now that everyone's locked down and watching, it's grown. But the only way you get there is to build a library of valuable YouTube videos. So influencers, create more than you consume.
Boom. And so what I can say is same thing on It's Judy's Life or daily vlog, even with the kids being home from school, because of course school got canceled. We're still creating content every single day. We actually know how important it is right now to be in front of people because other channels are also creating content too. And like Sean said, not only did we already plant the seeds for what's happening now, but the real question is, what seeds are you going to start planting? You know, we're talking about the crisis that's happening currently, but what video library are you going to build for a future crisis, right? For a future time, because I wouldn't be surprised if this pandemic happens again, whether it's this year or 10 years from now. So the second tip that we have is be careful what you consume. Be smart about what you're putting into your brain. Again, it's so easy to be consuming content, but when you are consuming content, make sure it's good stuff. It's just like health generally. You know, if you eat Twinkies, and not necessarily that I do, but if I were to eat like pancakes and all carbs and lots of sweets and ice cream, don't get me wrong, I love my ice cream, right? But if that's all I ate every day, I'd probably gain some weight. I'd probably get maybe diabetes or get unhealthy, and it would not feel very good. I wouldn't be very active. But if I'm eating salads, if I'm eating fruits, if I'm eating, high quality home cooked meals, I'm going to not only feel better, I'm going to perform better. It's the same thing with your mind, with what you consume. So are you watching enough positive reinforcement type of motivational videos, right? Are you watching content that's going to educate your brain? Are you going to watch content that's going to inform you? In addition to that is be careful about how much news you consume. I know personally, I watch so much, Sean, that the news is only depressing because it's crazy what's happening in the world. So I had to limit how much of that I consumed. Again, I'm being much more perceptive of what's in front of my face and what's on my phone because I know that affects how I think and how I act. And of course, the results of my life, my business, and ultimately my YouTube channel. Sean, what are you doing to be careful, and what would your suggestion be to people that are creating content out there?
Yeah, Benji, I think that this is the reality that you are your most valuable asset. I mean, I know these are 5 tips to help you get views, but these will help you get views because look, if you can't get motivated, if you can't get out of bed, like you're not going to be able to create not only content, but the best content possible. And think about it. YouTube, you are your most valuable asset. And when we are saying you want to be creating more, but you got to be careful what you're feeding on. You are what you eat. And for me, Benji, it's guarding my mind, it's guarding my focus. And it's me realizing that if I just overdose on negativity or I just overdose on distractions, then I'm not going to be in the right state as a leader, as a creator. April was hard. We had crazy results in April, but it was a freaking tough month because we were, 6, 7 videos a week in the different live streams and the logistics of business and everything else. I'm not sitting here saying that was a walk in the park. So I had to guard my energy, had to guard my mind, had to guard my spirit. And so I encourage you, influencers, you are your most valuable asset. Are you taking care of yourself? Are you guarding yourself? I've been praying, and of course, there's no judgment. There's only empathy going for Phil DeFranco, who took a week off because, and I don't blame him, his job is doing the news, and he just put out a thing and scrapped his shows for the whole week and said, I can't handle it. Like, I'm just in such a state of negativity, and I'm just sad. And I think he did the right choice. I think you might need to take a break. You maybe need to take a day off. You maybe do need to rest, because tired eyes rarely see a bright future. And he said, I hope to get back to it on Monday. So he was taking care of himself so that he could get in the right state so that he could keep putting out content. And man, he's in a place where his vocation is to be constantly looking at the news and everything else. But is that your job? Because if not, yeah, you should stay informed, but you might want to put the blinders on and focus on your work. Focus on your calling, focus on your message, focus on how you're helping people, focus on the content you're creating. Be careful what you consume, and maybe schedule time for when you can consume. I typically am not consuming until I've created throughout the whole day. Consuming happens around 5, 6, 7 at night when we make some dinner and then we sit down and then we check in on like everything bad that's happened. And then we finish episode 2 of season 2 of Killing Eve. Come on, that show's pretty crazy, man. Has anybody seen it? Let me know in the comments. And even time limits and even a reward, like I think whether that's taking weekends off or nights off, you just got to find a rhythm and be smart about what you consume. And influencers, if you've been getting value out of this stream, can you hit the like button? In fact, can we get this video to 200 likes? That's our goal today. And let us know, how many videos are you consuming or are you creating per week? And have you found this to be a challenge of maybe staying positive or getting motivated or even getting into the right state? Because we get it, man. Guarding your emotions is tough right now with everything that's going on.
There you go. And we just wanted to give a shout out to some regulars here on the VI show. We got Apollo, we got the Swedish car guy, Mahul, Sweeney Dunson, Journey to Wellness, Rasmin Love, Hey, it's Jen, Sizzling Home Flavors, and of course, Michael from our VI members club. Again, we are here for you to help you crush it on YouTube. If you're new to this channel, this is Video Influencers. Make sure you subscribe for more videos just like this. But Sean, I'm excited to get into the third tip that we have, which is smart topics. Pivot your content and videos to serve new problems. I mentioned this before multiple times, that the world is changing and is forever changed. I know we want to get back to some kind of normal, but it's never going to be like the normal we knew. It's going to be a new normal. And with that brings new challenges, new problems, new questions. And Sean, I know that I could probably list off like 10 new different channel ideas that weren't possible before. Literally, you could be a Zoom channel right now because Zoom went up. Like if you didn't know what Zoom was, you definitely know what Zoom is right now. If you have to talk to a team, have your kids, the kids are using it for school. They're using Zoom for school and homeschool. I mean, literally like the chain of different ideas that come up just thinking about one problem. So how are you going to pivot your channel? Right now, like for example, a gardening channel. I'm seeing a lot of gardening channels. I love gardening. They're talking about how to grow vegetables during a pandemic. What are the quickest growing foods so that you can store up for if there's another crisis? People are pivoting. They're taking advantage of the fact that this is what they care about, but they also understand that they can shift their niche a little bit because things are changing. For gardening, it's going to get more popular. In fact, I'm not going to call out any nurseries, but our local nursery is, I didn't know was going to be open. Well, they're staying open because there's a ton of people going to buy things for gardening right now. So Sean, this is something you're very passionate about, which is being smart about the topic, niching down, drop some wisdom on how people can really take advantage of this moment in terms of the change in interests and new searches that are happening on YouTube.
Yeah, I think that one top recommendation is just recently this week, we posted a new video with Rory Vaden on the 6 questions that you need to answer as a content creator. So definitely check that video out. We'll link it up in the YouTube description. But one of the first 2 questions is, what problem do you solve? And so tell us in the comments, what problem do you solve? If you don't know that as a YouTube creator, you're in trouble. You're gonna struggle to grow. And some people say, well, I'm an entertainment channel. I'm not like solving how to live stream, or I'm not solving YouTube tips, or I'm not solving how to get biceps like a fitness channel. But if you're an entertainer, you solve boredom. You solve, being able to escape or to be able to relax. You want to get clear on what problem you solve. But Benji, what I see as the opportunity right now is, here's basically what entrepreneurship is. Simply summed up, entrepreneurship, business, is solving problems. McDonald's, they solve hunger problems. Starbucks, they solve energy problems or thirst problems. Target solves all kinds of problems, strollers, bikes, whatever, lots of different things that they sell there. And every successful business is clear on what problem they solve. Well, you need to be a business-minded content creator And here's the opportunity created in the midst of this really challenging time in the world. There's tons of new problems. Entrepreneurs solve problems. So how can you pivot your content to really be serving these new problems? Don't get romantic and even discouraged if your particular channel views have gone down. It might mean you need to put that on hold or change, because again, if the focus is shifted, if a restaurant owner said, well, I'm just going to sit here and wait and stare at the room until the seats start to fill, then they would be waiting a long time and not producing revenue. But I think about like one of our favorite restaurants in Seattle, Canlis, and Benji and I both love going there. And Benji's a huge fan because the food and the chefs, and he's a food guy. And of course, his YouTube channel all about food. They said, okay, people can't come to our dining room anymore, so we're going to open up 3 new businesses. We're going to open up a bagel business where people drive through and they deliver it. We're going to open up a box delivery service where we deliver family meals. We're going to open up a lunch business. And this was a fine dining restaurant in Seattle that was putting lunches out for like $14 because they pivoted to the new problems. People still got to eat. They just had to eat in a different way. Postmates, Uber Eats, that's going through the roof right now. I know for me, it's going through the roof right now. That's probably where all our money is going for Sony and I, because these are the new problems. So think about on your channel, Benji hit a couple. It doesn't even have to be directly pandemic related. It just has to be in the psychology of what people are looking for. People are searching for more home-based workouts. People are searching for how to do more things online. People are searching for, they have more time on their hands. So a lot of people are doing home projects, decluttering their house. I know Sony has been decluttering drawers, cleaning out closets, because we're just quarantined. We're locked down at home. It's interesting with most businesses locked down. Home Depot and Lowe's is going freaking crazy, man. I think people got their stimulus checks and people are like, I'm working on home projects. The lines are crazy. My dad was telling me couldn't even go anywhere in Lowe's up in the Northwest. So it's just a different type of problems. You got to connect your YouTube channel to the problems people are looking for right now. And YouTube, you're right, Benji, is a search engine. People are looking for help, looking for answers, looking for unique things right now. And that's the opportunity to get more views. And that's why you got to go all in, because you can really grow on YouTube right now.
For sure. And so we have a lot of sympathy for everybody out there that's got, some, lost revenue. If you lost your job, maybe you're on limited hours, we totally understand. And the reality is there are some people that might not be able to create any content at all. Like, for example, travelers, right? Or travel vlogs. Like, you can't go anywhere, especially if your country doesn't allow you to come back. You want to be able to come back home. But I actually have friends that are travel vloggers, and what they're doing is their top 5 favorite destinations. So they're using old content to create new content. Definitely not nearly as exciting as going to a new place, showing their perspective of that place. But, there's always a solution. And I always say, are you somebody that's going to lean on excuses or search for solutions? But the 4th tip we want to talk about, and this is relevant for people that absolutely cannot create content for whatever reason, right? And you've got all the time in the world, which I think everybody can relate to. Sean, by the way, us too, we're like cleaning out everything in the house. But the 4th tip is skill up. Start learning the new skills of this new era. Start learning whatever you need to learn to be prepared for what's happening now and what's going to happen in the next 6 to 12 months to next decade. I'm telling you, things are going to be completely changing. And so whether you're a solopreneur doing everything as a one-man band or as a team. So Sean, any thoughts there? Because I know even myself, like I'm asking you for book reads. I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks. Literally, when you send me a podcast on anything, I'm like, okay, I'm listening to it right now, because I also have a little extra time too. You and I, we're not traveling anywhere. We basically canceled any of the conferences we would go to, and we're both adding good stuff into brain and, continuing to learn so that we can be prepared for what's coming up next.
Yeah, ask yourself, influencers, what skill should you develop next that's going to help you grow on YouTube? And get really clear about this. Maybe not even the skill you want to develop, but maybe one of your bigger weaknesses. Is it learning video editing? And there's websites like Skillshare or LinkedIn Learning. There's also just free YouTube tutorials. Is it your on-camera presence? Are you actually intentionally growing your confidence? Are you learning thumbnails and taking time to learn Canva or Photoshop? You know, there's even opportunities right now where if you're a student, Adobe is letting the Adobe Creative Cloud be free for students. And so not only can you get access to that software, but you could be watching tutorials and really developing the necessary skills right now that will help you dominate on YouTube. And the reality is, the more you develop yourself during this lockdown, the greater and you'll be able to dominate when it's over. And I believe that what you're doing right now is going to be multiplied 10 times going out of this. So some people, again, are putting their head in the sand. Some people are consuming the wrong kind of content, and those results are going to grow up, or lack of are going to affect the next 3, 6, 9 months. But some are saying, wow, I'm going to really skill up right now. This is an opportunity to learn. Benji, over the years, I've had to learn every aspect of YouTube. You know, I still do all of the thumbnails over on Think Media, and I've been a video editor since 2003. And I remember opening up video editing software. I didn't know the difference between PAL and NTSC. The first time I ever opened up a video editing, and people watching are like, either do I. But I remember I opened it up and I picked PAL because it sounded more friendly. I was like, that is like, it's like a PAL. That, no joke. And that's the European frame rate in my Premiere sequence. And so for 3 months when I was making videos for my church in 2003, everything was so jittery because it was the wrong frame rate. I didn't know any better. And you might be watching this and you might not know any better. This is the time to skill up. Come on, learn video editing. Come on, learn your on-camera presence. Learn how to teach and structure content. Learn how to add effects or After Effects or color grading. There's so many different skills. And here's the thing. Don't get overwhelmed, because you can't learn all skills all at once. I think the key is to identify the next skill you need to learn that will be the biggest needle mover for you. Like, where are you getting stuck? Where are you slowing down? Maybe you're a business owner where you're a little bit further in your career. You're trying to figure out how to scale this. Maybe you need to learn teamwork and delegation. Benji, I was a solo I was just a technician, just a solo video editor. I didn't know about leadership. I didn't know about building a team. Now we got 11 people at Think Media, and I've got to figure out how to be a CEO, how to be a leader. And so every single year I've had to add new skills. The more you develop yourself during this lockdown, the more you'll be able to dominate when it's over. What skill are you sharpening right now?
For sure. And I love that you brought that up about leadership, because it's really the next tip we have. But let's go through the points that we made. Number one, you should be creating more than you consume. Create a lot of content, and we know it takes a lot of work. Secondly, be careful what you're putting into your brain. Make sure it's positive stuff. Make sure it's stuff that's going to help you out and not bring you down. Third, smart topics. Pivot your channel. How are you going to adjust to the niches that are relevant right now, and how are you going to adjust for the future? Four, skill up. And so the reason I go through all these, and then of course we're going to get into the fifth tip, is because we know how much work it takes to do any one of these, on top of damage control, on top of making up for lost revenue, on top of, if you are a leader, worrying about people's salaries or how you're going to pay their benefits, worrying about your mortgage, how you're going to put food on the table. We totally understand. Now, the reality is this: Sean and I, we've been building our businesses for many, many years. It started during the last crisis, so we already had a mindset of we're going to prepare for any scenario. We never thought this would be one of the scenarios, so we're diversified. But the point of the last tip, which is lead. You've got to become a leader, whether you're leading yourself or a whole team. And the thing about a leader, they have to do more work. You know this if you've ever owned a business or you run a restaurant, you are the head of a team, and you not only have to do the work that's required to run that business or that channel, but you've also got to additionally lead. And so the last tip that we want to share is about leadership. Sean, let's talk about why this is so important in a time of crisis, to literally lead people, because we are in a war of sorts, right? Not like a military war, but a war against poverty, right? War against uncertainty, a war against this crisis, which has put everybody's business, everybody's families in this crazy predicament of being isolated, quarantined, and having to like figure out how are we going to survive this? How are we going to potentially thrive through what's going on in the world?
Yeah, I believe that the reason tip number 5, why we have to lead during this time, connects to getting more views is because it's a mentality shift that we need to take as content creators. Here's the reality. If you're a content creator, you're really positioning yourself as what? As a thought leader. And so what does a leader do? And this is a great question to ask for yourself. Leaders lead. Leaders are ones that stand up and they go the way, they show the way. And so if you're going to be a content creator, but you're not creating content, then you're actually kind of abdicating your role. You're not doing your vocation. And you might say, well, Sean, I just kind of do this as a hobby. I've just kind of uploaded a couple of videos. I'm not really a serious YouTube creator. Well, I want to challenge you. If you want YouTube to work for you, you need to take it seriously. If you want professional results, you need to act like a professional. And this could be the game-changing moment in your whole YouTube career, this moment in this video right now, where you make a mental shift to say, I'm going to lean into this and I'm going to stop dabbling and I'm going to start dominating. I'm going to lead. And ask yourself, what would it be and look like for you right now to adopt a role model mindset? Like, if you're a content creator, you're not saying you're perfect. We all make mistakes. You're not saying you even have the credentials. Well, Sean, I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert, right? I didn't go to film school, but I've got a channel that teaches people how to film because I just started. I started messy. I learned as I went. I just shared my answers, my way of doing things. Come on, you got to lead right now. And your community, your family, your followers, I don't care if you have 3 subscribers. They need you to lead in positivity, in consistency. Come on, influencers. You got to be up, posted videos, create more than you consume. Leaders post content because leaders have to overcome their inner demons. They have to overcome discouragement. They have to get up, and when everybody doesn't feel like doing it, they do it anyways. If you want more views right now, this will help you by adapting a role model mindset and saying, leaders lead, I'm going to lead right now. And we want to actually encourage you to check out our video on being wartime leaders. And that's kind of the reality that the type of leaders we need to be right now is even different than at different times in the world. Like, more is required of us right now. We're not saying that it's easy. We know it's hard. We know you're tired. We know you're discouraged. We know you're overwhelmed. We know you're dealing with a lot of emotions right now. But at the same time, what's the alternative? Do we just stick our head in the sand, or do we stand up and say, I know what I'm fighting for. I know what my reasons are. I'm fighting for my family. I'm fighting for my future. I got a baby on the way. I'm fighting for the next generation.
Crazy.
I have a whole nother level of purpose that I have to tap into. And so, my friends, leaders lead. And you got to think different and move different right now. And I heard Gary Vaynerchuk say this, Benji, that honestly, the reality is this event, this pandemic, is going to be the greatest dividing line of winners and losers. And it sounds like harsh language, but it's just the difference, because some people are going to shrink back, but some people are going to run into the fight. And we're challenging you influencers. This channel is to help you succeed with video, to help you succeed with video and YouTube. And you're not going to be able to do that if you're consuming more than you create. If you're not posting videos, if you're not guarding your energy and just letting your emotions be driven by every message around you and just going with the flow. No, you got to rise up and lead during this time. When you do, you're going to see massive things happen on YouTube. Why? Because there's a vacuum in the world. We need leaders. We need positive messages. We need people that are even just helping us with humor, comedy. Come on, giving us some gameplay so that we can relax after work. People that say, I'm not going to let discouragement keep me on the sidelines, but I'm going to stay in the game. I'm going to punch fear in the face. I'm going to punch perfectionism in the face, and I'm going to press, record, and lead.
And I want to echo what Sean said. Do you want to be a winner or do you want to be a whiner? I don't know if that's exactly what you said, but we know from personal experience from 2008, 2011, around the time when Sean and I met each other, we felt like we were winners, but we were also losing everything. So you can still be a winner in the midst of you not being able to pay your bills, right? We've been there, like deciding, are you going to pay your credit card bill this month or your mortgage this month, right? We know in the midst of your job being lost, of your business crashing, that you can still be a winner. So the question isn't about your circumstance, right? Or how much is in your bank account. It's about your mindset. It's about the actions that you can control. And so we're going to be talking about the leadership that's required a little bit later. If you guys are watching the replay, make sure you join the Video Influencers Membership Club. I want to give a shout out to Salon Chat TV, Michael Groff, because we have all the extras for you guys available. But we will be, if you're watching the live, continuing this for you guys. And eventually we will be uploading that content as well to this channel. But the reason I bring up this fact of, you can still have a positive mindset in the midst of failing is because everybody's getting hit, you guys. I mentioned how Sean and I started YouTube and Video Influencers in the midst of us losing our homes. Literally, I met Sean when both of our homes, I think, were going into short sale. In the midst of us, literally, he was working a full-time job on top of still being a contractor, shooting videos, editing, right? Collaborating with me. I had just quit my job because I thought it was all about real estate, and then literally real estate crashed. So I had to get a part-time job, and I had to become a real estate agent, which is really not what I wanted to do. And so even with us being so busy, we were still able to plant the seeds for YouTube channels, right? Where 10 years later, it's a completely different scenario. Even though our businesses have been affected negatively, right? Whether it's lost revenue from, affiliates deals changing, or for us, brand deals came to a halt, because brands are trying to be careful about how they put out their products, how they advertise their services. We have been planting enough seeds for the last decade. So I'm not saying that to impress you. I'm impressing upon you the importance of what you're going to do right now. It's crazy because with every single week, the world seems to get to a worse place, and that can easily be depressing. Now, I sympathize with anybody that's got family and friends that are in the hospital, that have passed away. Obviously, people that have lost income, lost their job, their business has maybe failed, or maybe you had to literally just completely give up, right? Because you just couldn't afford it. You had to let go of your whole team. But in the midst of things getting worse and worse, that's when it's not only more important for you to put in the right actions to be able to improve your life right now and, do some damage control, but you're planting some major seeds. I can tell you without a doubt, and I'm going to hand it off to you, Sean, next, is the seeds we planted 10 years ago are serving us today to help not only get through this crisis, but support us and set us up for the next 10 years. So the question for you is this, and put it in the comments below. Today's question of the day is, what seeds are you planting for yourself? What video ideas are you going to follow through on finally and upload to your channel? What kind of YouTube business are you going to have? We want to know from you in the comments below. Sean, I know that we're going to hit up some leadership stuff after this, but what are your final thoughts before we end this broadcast?
Yeah, I just want to say that influencers, we're in your corner, and the mission of this channel has been the same, to help you build your influence, your income, and your impact with online video. If you got value out of the video today, let's see if we get it to 200 likes. That's the like goal. Smash the like button. Definitely answer the question of the day, and check out the Wartime Leaders video, which actually we'll be recording in just a second. But if you're watching the replay, you'll be able to watch that. And also check out that how to really narrow down on your niche right now with Rory Vaden. We'll put show notes and links in the description below. And there's a couple great questions that we'll answer in between, Benji, in just a second as well. So I'm excited for this part 2, but let's land the plane.
Sounds good. Just wanted to give a shout out to our newest member, Gustavo. Thank you so much for joining the VI members club. Of course, the super chats, TSG, Slav Guns, Fearless Millionaire, Balsam Saleh. The last thing I want to leave you with is, again, Sean and I, we know how hard it can be, how hard it is. We've been there. And even with us having a completely different life and perspective and position than we were at 10 years ago during the last crisis, we also are not only being affected, but working harder than ever. We're doing double time. And remember, Sean and I are both expecting a baby in the next 6 months. And thank you. And our businesses are being affected negatively, but we know how important this window of time is. So I hope that you take advantage of the extra time that you do have. I hope that you can get through this hard time and go through it with a positive mindset. So make sure you check out our whole playlist right here if you want to see how to start a YouTube channel or top tips, and to check out that leadership video that's so important right now, whether you're leading yourself or a team. Click or tap the screen right here. As always, we're helping build your influence and impact with online videos. We'll talk to you later, unless you're staying for the rest of the show. Sean, man, that was a kind of a crazy. I mean, we just hit a technical difficulty. And honestly, Sean, I mean, we've got a pretty dope setup, but internet usage is really messing with us. I don't know about you in Las Vegas. I'm not using it as an excuse. I definitely want to check up on it. But this is a clear example that people are online right now, not only consuming content, but potentially uploading, gaming. I know you've been gaming a lot more in the last year or so, but it's crazy. So Sean, I'm excited to get into this leadership portion, which probably is going to be one of my favorite pieces of content I'm recording with you in a while. So.
Yeah, I'm excited as well, and I would love to just answer a few questions. But, we had the stream drop partway through, but we just started up again. I think we could be afraid that we're going to get on camera and we're going to be awkward. You will be. We are too. That we're going to get on a live stream and something's going to go wrong. It will. You got to just start messy. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn, and you always want to fail forward and fall forward and keep putting one foot in front of the other. But I wanted to hit a couple questions, Benji. Nona said, if YouTube is not my ultimate goal, am I cheating myself? And Nona, it's a really good question. Here's the thing that's kind of interesting. I mean, we're here at Video Influencers. We wrote the book, YouTube Secrets. So it might even seem like YouTube is our goal, but technically, I don't think anybody watching, I don't think YouTube should be your goal. YouTube is just a medium. YouTube is just a means of communication. It's a means of getting your message in front of somebody else. Now, YouTube is its own goal. We've heard that, 9 out of 10 teenagers and kids want to be YouTubers. So YouTube kind of could be a goal. But here's the thing. If you put all your eggs in the YouTube basket, then you're really sabotaging your future success. What if YouTube goes away? But what's not going to go away? Video's not going to go away. That's why this is Video Influencers. And of course, we wrote the book, YouTube Secrets, because YouTube is powerful. But Nona, I would encourage that you should use YouTube to reach your ultimate goal. And that everybody should be on YouTube, whether you're talking about leadership, finance, life, spirituality, faith, business. It doesn't matter. YouTube is television. YouTube is the radio. YouTube is the books. These are all books are not your ultimate goal. It's the words on the page. YouTube's not your ultimate goal. It's the content itself. So maybe that mindset shift can help you think about the bigger vision you're building, the bigger business you're building. People are always going to need on Think Media. They're going to need to learn how to live stream on whatever platform. It could be Discord or Twitch or whatever, Zoom, Google Meetups, Windows. There's always going to be different tools and different topics and brands. But what is the deeper substance you're building? And then, Kapowich, congrats on joining the members program. And thank you so much. And he was asking what we're using for this great split screen live. Benji, break down the setup. And we have a video on it too that you did.
For sure. We do have a studio tour on my studio here. I call it the VI studio. Of course, I have my other business I run through here as well. But we're, cameras is Sony's, right? We've got it connected through the HDMI cord to the actual computer, and there's a capture card. We actually have a capture card which connects the HDMI to the computer in the computer, but we're using a software called vMix. And I don't know Nucleate. Oh, there you go. So this is the software we're using. Of course, you can kind of see Nucleate down there. You can pick different elements. Hey, what's up, Nucleate? And so we love this. It's a pretty advanced, but it's very useful. And I know if you've got an Apple and Mac, Ecamm Live is also another great option, but that's what we're using to go live. And then we connect directly into it. Speaking of live and also mobile phones, we got D Niman in the chat. What's up, D? Thank you so much for joining us. If you guys want tips and tricks about using mobile devices to create content, make sure you go to D Niman. Yes, that's the brother of Nick Niman. Amazing channel. We're going to have you on again, D. That was a great broadcast talking about mobile phone tips and stuff. But yeah, I'm ready for the next question. I'm just going to pick a random one. And
while you're pulling that up, Benji, we are almost to our like goal. So influencers, we're at 187 as of right now. Let's see if we can hit 200 likes. That's the like goal of the day. We just appreciate you being here and supporting the stream. Whether you were on the first one, this part 2, we're going into like part 3 in a second. Benji's going to grab a question, but we're so close. I think we can get there actually right now. 193, so close, Benji, and hit that next question.
Yeah, that's my goal, answering this next question to get to that like goal, which is from Zenus.
Oh, 201. Sorry, I had to get crazy. 201. Thanks, y'all. Whew.
Hey, thank
Bam.
you to
Sweeney, Dustin says.
Yeah, thank you for supporting us, obviously, not just with engagement in the comments and questions, but also with your super chats, joining VI members. Remember, every dollar that comes through here helps create more content. You know, Sean and I, we honestly putting all your dollars to work for better content, right? Right now, it doesn't really pay for trips, but before it paid for trips to go interview other YouTubers. Right now, it pays for better content, for gear. We don't take any of this money. Like, this goes towards content. So just know whether it's super chats or when you join the members area, that's what you're supporting. But this question is from Zenus and asks, any advice? My videos take hours to produce, so I can only get one out a week. Is that enough? And I absolutely say yes. You know, like some channels, and maybe once every 2 weeks, whatever it is, everybody's content is different, but one a week is generally the rule of thumb that we, you know, like share with everybody. But if you can do more, do more. You know, like a great example of this is Pat Flynn. So Pat Flynn is a friend of ours. In fact, you know, inspires us. He went live every single day, which really didn't take him a lot of time to prepare. Maybe he prepared some notes, but really he just goes live straight for a whole hour. And he's been crushing on his channel. And as a result of going live every single day, adding value, not scripted, obviously it's pretty produced. Like, he's got a nice setup. He's been able to 2x his views. And so Sean even mentioned earlier how he's upping his uploads. It's crazy. Like, every time I go to his channel, like, I have to like do a double take because there's like 1 day upload, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. And so we understand how important it is. So if you can up your uploads right now, and honestly, if you have a lot of time on your hands because you're not working as much, you're staying at home, you're not going to restaurants to eat out, then there's no excuse to not create content. But yes, if you can only do one upload a week, I'd say that's bare minimum, just because that's kind of the standard for the industry. But you don't want to live by standards right now. You want to exceed them, because I do believe this, Sean, and it happened last time, because people have lost their jobs, lost income, people's businesses are shut down, like restaurant owners. People are going to create more content. They're going to upload more videos. That's more competition. So I don't think YouTube was necessarily easy in the last few years, but I actually think it was easier back then than it is now, because get ready. I mean, you guys should be starting channels if you haven't, right? Or if you already have a channel, hopefully if you're taking advice, you're uploading more videos. Sean, what are your thoughts when it comes to how often to upload, and how do you kind of like determine what's a good consistency for different channels?
Yeah, I agree, Benji. I think 1 should be our baseline target for the week. think about it. That's 52 videos a year. It's a lot, but if you want to commit to this YouTube thing, I think it's just kind of 101 for being a serious creator, for showing up consistently for your audience. Think about it. If you were going to become trustworthy, if you were going to become dependable, and maybe if you've dated before, right? Like, how much are you going to trust that guy or that girl that invites you on a date and they're like, yeah, I'll meet you at 6, and they don't show up? Now, you might just right on that say, just be like, oh, they're a flake. I'm not going to, forget them. But what if you're like, I'll give them a second chance, and then the next week they showed up? But then the next 2 weeks for the dates, 6 o'clock rolled by, and they ghost you. No text, no call back, right? And then the 4th week they do the same. You're not sticking around. You've lost trust with that person. I think consistency on YouTube is all about building trust. And that doesn't have to be a lot. Like, even if it's twice a month, that's still consistent. Hey, every other week, I'm going to give you new value on this channel. So pick something and stick with it. I think 1 a week is a good baseline. It's good to see Wendy here. She's imitating Pat Flynn and learning from some of the stuff he's been breaking down. She's been doing live. Today was day 6. Congrats, Wendy, for the hustle. And then, I saw, hey, it's Jen say, well, what if I go live and there's no one there? And a lot of us can probably relate to this. We think, why am I creating videos if I only get 3 views? Why am I going live if nobody's there? But the reason you're going to do it, Jen, is because you want to use your season in obscurity to prepare you for popularity. In my opinion, the first 35 to 55 videos you post on YouTube or more, the first live streams that you do online are actually less about who's there, and they're more about what's happening in you. It's personal development. Because, by the way, I don't even want to necessarily have people see my first couple lives. I don't want 1 million people on there judging me when I'm just getting started. You got to take some time. I don't want someone going to the gym, if I'm going to the gym, to watch me work out if I haven't worked out in 15 years. I go in, my form's weird. Benji, I was trying to do some, like, the little leg kick up sit-ups the other day. I was shaking so bad because my core's so weak. And I was like, dude, that would be, man, if somebody saw that. But I would maybe want that to be seen. I'm not ready to be on an infomercial with my friend Shalene Johnson as one of the backup PIO people because I would be huffing and puffing. So use your season in obscurity to prepare you for popularity. That's why you're staying consistent. That's why you're going live. That's why you're putting out so many videos. I had to put out a lot of bad videos to get to my good ones. That's the opportunity right now.
Totally. And again, if you guys are getting value out of this, hit that like button. If you're new to this channel, this is Video Influencers, so consider subscribing for more videos just like this. We have the VI show every Saturday mornings, which you're watching right now. And then we also upload a video every single week. So at least 2 uploads, right? And the one question I want to answer is from a member, the Salon Chat, which is Sharon. Sharon, I hope I said that correctly. And she asked, what are some tips that you can give me to add more charisma to my videos while still following somewhat of a script? So I know all too well what this feels like because I don't want to sound scripted. In fact, I'll tell you this, Sean and I, we're kind of following a script right now, but we probably don't sound like we're talking from a script. And so my number 1 tip is practice, practice, practice. Before you hit record, before you go live. Sean and I, we're like talking through our points. In fact, this morning, Sean, I woke up at like 4 in the morning. I thought, hey, since I'm up, I'm going to go through our notes. And literally, I was thinking about what we're going to talk about before we went live, literally 6 hours later. So I think that ingrains those thoughts. So like you sound a little bit more natural and then you up your energy, right? So that's the second tip. Then you up your energy. And I know if you don't do the practice, upping your energy might like unfocus you from your points. And this is why it's so important to practice, practice, practice. Sean, what's your tips for her in terms of having that charisma, but following a script so you can like stay on point and deliver value in a very like focused way?
That's it. It's preparation and it's practice. Look, I've done plenty of cramming for tests in school. And I was all about sometimes in college, crushing coffee and trying to memorize the terms so I could just put them into the test the night before. I've also at times, not very often, but at times during school, actually prepared, did the work, read the book, filled out the homework, and then I was ready for the test. Two different people going in to take the test. One put in the work ahead of time, the preparation, and they have less stress. Why? Because they prepared. Prior planning prevents poor performance, and it gives you peace so that when you are called to perform, you're prepared for it. When you cram the night before, you're nervous, you're stressed out because you ain't prepared. And so I think taking some time in preparation, just as you said, Benji, but then even still, it's the practice. The first couple times you do anything, you're going to be terrible. But after you've done it over and over and over and over, you know, practice makes progress, and it just helps you get better. And your goal should just be to get 1% better with every upload. And you'll be so surprised where you are over the next 6 months, over the next 12 months, and over the next 3 years by staying consistent and keep posting videos.
And I got one more question before we get into it, and it's from Ronald Colvin, which is, when does the updated version of YouTube Secrets come out? So if you guys don't know, Sean and I were the co-author of YouTube Secrets, who helped, we wrote this to help you guys crush it. So go to tubesecretsbook.com, and we are working on the second version right now, which we're hoping 2021, right? I hope it doesn't end up like last time. We're like, hey, 6 months, we're going to be done. And then 4 years later, no, it's going to get done, right? But the reason I bring this up, Sean, is because, you know, this whole channel was built so that we could successfully write this book, to write the best book possible. And we're going to get into probably my favorite part of this whole broadcast, which is leadership, right? And I don't know how much time you have left, but we'll try to get into as much as possible. I could stay on a little bit later for additional Q&A as well. But I wanted to share with you guys our leadership principles, what we're putting into play into our own personal businesses. So stay tuned for that. But pick up a copy of YouTube Secrets at Audible, at Amazon. Click the links below. But don't take our word for it. Let's take a little break, and we'll be right back with the leadership principles. And go ahead and hear from these people talk about YouTube Secrets and why you guys should buy it right now.
In terms of just technically how to create videos that are engaging and how to utilize a lot of the mechanics of YouTube is Sean and Benji from Video Influencers. They just came out with a book recently called YouTube Secrets.
I mean, they take this all the way from if you're just brand new and trying to think of ideas for your channel, all the way through it to advanced strategies.
And they both have a lot of value to add to help us influencers and YouTubers really start to build amazing and big audiences and get more views and get more subscribers.
Guys, buy the book, I promise. If you're doing YouTube Secrets, I mean it.
Did you know that right now there are tens of thousands of people generating over $100,000 per year using YouTube? That means if you're a small business owner, entrepreneur, social media influencer, or you lead a nonprofit, YouTube is one of the best places to reach more people, generate more income, and build a powerful brand right now.
They talked about some of the key things that I think are essential for anyone that is trying to grow their channel, grow their business. This book is just perfect for that.
And I like to call this book the YouTube Bible because everything you need to know about YouTube is inside of this book.
And finally, there is a step-by-step playbook for success. YouTube Secrets, the brand new #1 best-selling book from online video experts Benji Travis and Sean Cannell. Drawing on 2 decades of industry experience and over 100 interviews with today's top YouTube influencers, you'll learn the proven best practices and latest viral strategies for building an influential and profitable presence on YouTube.
The #1 reason why you should read this book is because you can trust Sean and Benji. They're honest, have integrity, which I think is rare in YouTube.
Considering they have a combined 2 million subscribers, they've built 2 7-figure brands, and on top of that they have a combined 20 years of experience making video. So to that end, you really get the impression that everything that they're telling you is really steeped in proven success and not the result of wishful thinking or just theory.
The ebook, paperback, and audio version are out now at tubesecretsbook.com. YouTube Secrets, the ultimate guide to growing your following and making money as a video influencer.
Should you buy it? Yes.
What's up, Sean? I'm excited to get into the next topic. And just one thing I want to say before I let you get started. And right now, it's a crazy time. It's hard for a lot of people. And both Sean and I can also attest to, like, we're facing some challenges. In addition to our business and some lost revenue and just more work, we both are preparing for a baby on the way. And I look to you, Sean, for a lot of inspiration. And leadership is so key. I'm literally listening to everything you send my way. I'm reading a book about the best questions leaders can ask themselves. And so what I want to tell everybody is, if there was ever a moment that you want to stay tuned and listen, right now would be that time. Get the paper out, get the pen. If it's a computer, get your docs ready, take some notes, because what you're going to hear is not just for the person with a business or a team or a group of people that they have to help lead the way for, but even individuals, right? Leadership can happen. In fact, it happens with you individually first. So, Sean, I'm excited to get right into it, and let's get right into your tips on leadership. Oh, wait.
Perfect. I'll do a, yeah, I got it. Awesome.
Okay, cool.
We'll do a little countdown and we'll just jump into the intro of the video influencers. Thanks for being here. Smash like if you're just getting here. We're going to talk about 17 attributes of wartime leaders. So let's fire it up. 3, 2, 1. As content creators, it's never been more important that you, okay, well, let's start it again. That's how it goes, y'all. 3. All right. 3, 2, 1. With all that's happening in the world right now, there has never been a more important time to lead. And as a content creator, you need to be thinking of yourself as a thought leader. But here's the thing. This pandemic has moved us from a time of peace really into a time of war. War against anxiety, war against poverty, war against these health challenges. And so we need to rise up. We need to lean in. And in this video, we're going to be sharing 17 attributes of wartime leaders. Now, you might not think of yourself as a leader, but if you're making videos, guess what? You're leading. People are following you. They're watching you. If you got an Instagram account, they're watching you. They're following you. The question is, how are you showing up? Are you being a role model? Are you sticking your head in the sand, or are you standing up and leading with courage, with faith? And in this video, we're going to be sharing some tips and advice to help you not dabble during this season, but dominate. And I'm so excited. But if you're new to this channel, Benji, what is Video Influencers all about?
That's right. My name is Benji Travis, and welcome to Video Influencers. We're helping build an influence, income, impact with online video. You know, Sean and I started this channel to help you crush it on YouTube. We're the co-authors of YouTube Secrets, so we have a huge passion for this, and we want to see you succeed. So make sure you subscribe if you're new to this channel for more content just like this. Hit that like button, and I'm excited to get into this topic because I think more than ever, we need leadership in our business, in our teams, and in our lives. Sean, let's drop some wisdom about how we create leadership best practices and the principles to lead to success during this crazy time.
Yeah, Benji, this is a training that I've been doing with our team at Think Media. I've been studying wartime leaders, and there's 17 attributes of wartime leaders. And it might seem crazy. People are like, I'm just making Fortnite videos. Like, why do I need this? But I think more than ever before, it's time to double down on discipline and think about some of these things. And so tip number 1 is wartime leaders leap out of bed. Like, you got to jump out of bed every morning, eager to get to work. And so you can lead your team. Now, you might be saying, well, I don't have a team, but here's the first person you need to lead, and every leader needs to lead: themselves. You got to get up and get yourself motivated, get your own mind right. And if you're going to create content, you got to leap out of bed, write down your goals, focus on your priorities. I told my team that if I'm not jumping out of bed early to get to work and to lead them, then they deserve a better leader. And I think there's something about getting up and getting in uniform. Benji, I've learned this. We're all working from home right now. Man, if you're wearing flannel pajamas 3 days in a row and you have not showered, you're smelling your own bad breath, that's a really hard way to be confident. You know, I've been working from home for really over the last 10 years. I've had either home office and a side hustle in the last 6 as a full-time entrepreneur. And I get up and I get dressed and I take a shower. Why? Well, I could just work in my boxers. I could wear whatever I want. I've learned that my most important account is not my bank account. It's my confidence account. And so I got to leap out of bed, get dressed so that I'm acting like a professional because I want professional results. Benji, wartime leaders leap out of bed.
Yes. And that first moment outside of your bed when you leap out is going to influence the rest of your day. So I agree with you, Sean. How you act in those first few moments is so important. And oftentimes I don't even want to necessarily grab the phone or get on the email. I'm almost like either saying a prayer or planning out the day or getting active. You know, one thing you can do is like create content. So in regards to YouTubers or people that have channels or businesses, what content are you going to create that momentum? But absolutely leaping out of bed, both physically and even mentally, is very important.
Tip 2 is wartime leaders make every resource count. Man, we're in the middle of a pandemic. And as soon as this lockdown started, we started to have Zoom meetings. And this just might be with your spouse. This just might be with your own bank account and your own checkbook. You need to look at the details. During war, details matter. This is the time to be hyper vigilant with your time, with your money, and with your energy, and with even what you're saying yes and what you're saying no to. You know, one of the ideas could be that, oh, now we have a bunch of extra time, but I don't actually think we have a lot of extra time right now. I think we need to be more intentional and purposeful with our time. What could you really create if you got focused right now? Could you finish that ebook? Could you actually post those 2 videos a week, those 3 videos a week? Could you actually finish that online course you're building? Could you get that education and learn that new skill you want to build? It's about making every resource count right now. And during times like this, times of disruption, you've got to be hyper vigilant with your time, money, and energy.
For sure. And a great example of this is just even your resource of time. You know, Sean, you just mentioned you even are protecting the time you spend on different things. And so if you're going to be doing something, can you make the most of it? You know, we talked earlier about this channel called Kenji Lopez, this chef and restaurant owner. And when he's cooking at home, he's in home quarantine with his family. He's not just simply cooking meals, he's recording them and putting them up as YouTube videos, right? So make the most of your time. I think this is so important. So double and triple dipping and making more of whatever you're doing and making the most out of your actions so that you can do more and leverage your time. I know personally, I'm always thinking like, hey, can I create content from this moment? Now, a little bit easier for myself because I am a vlogger and it's about our lifestyle, us as a family, but still, like it's easy during this hard time to not create content, right? To just live your life, especially when everybody's kind of in this mindset of like, you know, I'm just at home, I'm doing isolation and there's just no point in doing anything, right? With that kind of mindset, of course, nothing's going to happen. But if you look at every second of your day, look at all the minutes that you spend doing anything as an opportunity to actually do something productive, you're going to do so much more to plant those seeds for future success.
And tip number 3 is wartime leaders are intentional and purposeful in all things. And tip number 4 is wartime leaders are self-controlled and disciplined. Now, I know we hate the D word, and like that's not a fun word to say. And especially during the lockdown, you know, I'm seeing people's posts, I'm so bored, or like, I finished Netflix. Did you see that meme? Like, I finished Netflix. What's next? Like all of it, right? And of course, we should be relaxing and de-stressing, but I think it's time to double down on discipline. My friends, this is going to affect your YouTube channel. This is going to affect your views. It's going to affect your subscribers. And the challenge with times right now is you see stats that like alcohol consumption and sales are up like double during the times of the pandemic. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I'm all about like relaxing with the drink. You know, Benji and I will toast a hazy IPA, a local micro brew, especially with our roots being in Seattle and the West Coast. Come on, you know, let us know in the comments, like what's your favorite go-to drink? But now's not the time to be putting your head in the sand and overeating, over drinking. But it's time to really get self-controlled and disciplined. I've been so tempted to just try to kind of numb the pain or lean into distractions. But you're here on Video Influencers, in a video that's different than the kind of video we would normally make. That's all about leadership, and leaders lead, creators create. And so if you up your self-control right now and your discipline right now, then you're going to be able to make a greater impact with your content. And come on, you're a role model. What would it look like for you to be the role model as a content creator, as a thought leader on your YouTube channel? Think about that. And that makes us need to lean into discipline.
For sure. And this can be simply not just with your business or your content creation. It can even be with your everyday actions, like eating and working out. I know there's this other new term, Sean, called grazing, where you kind of graze and you eat everything around you. You know, like charcuterie boards are perfect for this, where it's just food spread out and you're just kind of like eating throughout the day. Easy to kind of maybe gain some weight, maybe get overweight and get sluggish. Same thing with working out, because you don't have the gym, you can't go out as regularly. Maybe there's certain sports you can't be a part of. It's easy to lose sight on your health in terms of your physicality. But I can tell you right now, I try to balance every single day. I look at every single day as a new day, right? I have to reset every single day. And of course, you know, I want to enjoy a drink at night, maybe a glass of wine, or eat something like fried chicken. Last night I made some Japanese fried chicken, but I'm quickly back to green juice. In fact, on the next segment, I'm going to grab my green juice from the fridge. And the same thing with working out. I don't have my gym anymore. I was doing taekwondo with the girls, but right now I work out twice a week, once in the gym, once in the garage, doing kettlebell and push-ups for like an hour and a half, right? I bang that out. And then my second workout is a 10-mile run. So I went from doing about 5 workouts a week to 2 workouts. But again, I'm trying to stay disciplined, because also I know there's a lot of things that we're balancing out. Kids are home from school, so you have to do homeschooling. Of course, you don't have all the resources you normally do. And even though we have a lot more time in some ways, we don't have all the tools and the resources to be able to do what we do. So definitely stay disciplined. And again, don't let things be an excuse. Find solutions so that you can be consistent with that discipline and have self-control.
And if you're getting value out of this video, hit the like button. And if you are committing to just step up to another level, to lean in right now, and to really seize the opportunity to be a leader during this time in the world where we need you to lead, then drop in the comments, "I'm a leader." And the next tip is number 5. Wartime leaders are vigilant and not complacent. Complacency kills. Wartime leaders are vigilant. They're leaning in. Tip number 6, wartime leaders are focused on their most important objectives. Benji, this is one of the most important ones. I think we really need to be auditing and asking ourselves this question: what is my most important objective right now? What is my most important activity? Not what are all the activities that I could be doing. What is the most important? What will be the highest impact one? What's the next video that has the most opportunity during this time that people are most likely to be searching for? What is, at Think Media, we talk about our IPAs, and we just mentioned IPAs, not the beer, but we talk about income producing activities. We talk about what are our income producing activities, not our busy work on social media. If you're a social media influencer, content creator, you might justify saying that scrolling on Instagram for an hour and a half is research or is networking, but is that really your most important, highest impact IPA? What are your income producing activities? If your channel's monetized, posting more videos and getting more views will make you more money. So that's an IPA. If it's building something, your income is directly correlated to the amount of buy buttons that you have on your website. What are your IPAs? Do you need to build a course, build a product, build out a video connected to affiliate marketing? This is one of the most important questions. Look, when it's peacetime, man, you have a chance to take a little time off, relax a little bit, or work on a little side projects and work on this experiment and that experiment. But when it's wartime, man, it's about focused. And wartime leaders are focused on their most important objectives. I think this is the difference between those who are really going to thrive during this time and to those who aren't, because it's the lack of focus. It's the anxiety that has us so scattered. You got to get rid of the scattered and get laser focused on your most important objectives.
Boom. Sean, I'm loving it. If you guys are getting value out of this, I know that the topic has shifted. Hit that like button. Of course, you're watching Video Influencers. This is a VI show, and this is a special taping. You're watching batch producing in its actual reality. This is how Sean and I create content. Sean, why don't you take the next few points, because I think you would be able to cover these a lot better, and then I'll follow up with the next couple points after that.
Awesome. Next is tip number 7, wartime leaders are paranoid. Now, this one's kind of misunderstood by some. The former CEO of Intel, the chip that's probably running your computer or phone right now, and we've heard of Intel processors, he wrote a book called Only the Paranoid Will Survive. Now, it's not paranoia of fear. We know that fear will lead us to inaction and have us make bad decisions. But there's something about being paranoid to where the reason we are so vigilant, the reason we are so focused is because we're not, when you're paranoid is when you're kind of on edge, when you're looking at every detail, when you're like, oh, is somebody about to get me? And there's a level of, it doesn't mean anxiety, it doesn't mean stress, but it just means that we are on edge with the things that matter most. Really, another way to put that is wartime leaders are paying attention. They're looking at the details. They're paranoid. Number 8, wartime leaders roll with the 6s and 7s. This is one of my favorite attributes of wartime leaders. And what we've been talking about over at Think Media is you cannot give into perfectionism right now. This is not the season to paint the plane and to make sure that there's a nice mural on the side of the plane. This is the season to get the plane running, make sure it's safe, and to take off and get that freaking thing in the air. You got to roll with your 6s and 7s. That means that you're not putting out shabby videos that are like 3s and 4s, but it also means that you're not overproducing your videos to be like only 10s and therefore slowing down your outputs. This is the season to start messy. We launched 3 new shows. I wasn't comfortable with it. Heather on the Think Media team was like, Sean, you're doing a show now called Coffee with Candle. You're going live on Facebook. I was like, I'm not ready. There's no branding. There's no music. I don't know. How's it going to go? I was super stressed out about it. But then I was like, wartime leaders roll with 6s and 7s. Hey, it might be a 6, but better to get a bunch of live streams out that are 6s than nothing at all waiting on perfection. Come on, wartime leaders roll with 6s and 7s. Maybe you can double down on your videos and instead of over polishing them, get 3 7s out a week instead of 1 10. You're going to make a greater impact if you do. Tip 9, wartime leaders are too busy fighting the enemy to read management books written by consultants who have never managed a fruit stand. What does that point mean? We just did a video about create more than you consume, but when you are consuming, be careful what you consume. Right now, wartime leaders are learning. We are reading books. We're listening to podcasts. Come on, we're doubling down. We're leveling up our skills. But we're being careful that we're not learning from consultants who have never managed a fruit stand. You want to make sure, be careful who you follow right now. And make sure you follow people who have actually gotten proven results and also that do so with aligned values with you. I like to follow a lot of people online, but I'm careful that it's not people that have maybe compromised to get where they are, or people that I just don't align with their beliefs or their values, or people that actually have never really managed a fruit stand, but now they're some kind of a so-called expert. We're just being really careful because time is too fragile. These tips build on each other. You're making every resource count. You can't listen to 35 podcasts right now. Pick the best, most focused, most relevant information from proven, trusted people that have gotten results that's going to help you solve your most pressing problems and focus on your most important objectives. Wartime leaders are hyper vigilant with who they're listening to and following. That's tip number 9.
Yeah.
And that brings us to tip number 10, Benji.
Yes, tip number 10. But before we get into it, I just want to follow that up. I love that there are management books out there, consultants out there. However, the times that we're living in, the crisis that we're experiencing is super unique. So your circumstances are unique. So the best learning that can be done are from the experiences that you're going through right now. And there's nothing better than effort and experience to teach you what you need to know to be able to react to this pandemic that we're experiencing. So I completely believe in that. So tip number 10 is wartime leaders double down on the actions and activities they can control. Now, we can't control what this crisis has brought to this world, whether it's lost revenue, a shutdown economy, whether it's, like people getting sick and dying, and obviously just the world coming to a halt. But there's so many things we can control. We can control what we read. We can control what we watch. We can control how we spend our time at home. We can either Netflix and chill and be depressed about the world, or we can inform our brains with the best practices, learn new skills, upload more videos. If you're watching this, you're watching because you want to create a channel on YouTube. So right now you should be creating scripts, building out ideas lists for future videos. You should be recording, you should be editing, you should be uploading to YouTube, right? And you should be doing that constantly. Control what you can control and leave everything else to the randomness of the world, okay? And it's just going to happen. So I think this is so important, Sean, for leaders to realize, whether you're, again, leading a group or leading yourself, because I think this principle is good for anybody to hear.
Yeah, and tip number 11 is wartime leaders train their team to survive the battle with the enemy. Now, this goes, especially if you work with somebody else and if other people are depending on you. This goes if you are a leader in your home and you've got a family, there's people around you that you're leading, and maybe it's not that you haven't seen it that way, but it doesn't make it less true. Maybe today is the moment where you wake up and you say, man, I got to lead my family at another level, or I got to lead that virtual assistant that I work with. But especially at Think Media, we've got a team of 11. You know, here at Video Influencers, we do meetings on Monday, and we've got people like Gabby and Nuchali, and Gabe helping us, and we jump on Skype, and Carla and Jordan, and we jump on Zoom, and we've got and we talk about this kind of thing. And here's where this tip is really relevant. Number 11, wartime leaders train their team to survive the battle with the enemy. In other words, so they don't get their ass shot off in battle. Like, it matters more than ever before that you're being vigilant to encourage and equip those around you. I think that's what we're trying to do. This is the Video Influencers team. Come on. This is the influencer community. We're here to say, look, you got to be in a different mindset right now. This is not peacetime. This is time to be leaning in, hyper vigilant, be disciplined. We don't want you to get crushed by this recession. We don't want you to get sidelined or derailed at this time. Why are we sharing this information with you? So that you could be hyper vigilant and really be focused and leading right now. We don't want you to get shot in battle. See, the stakes are different. When it's peacetime, it's like, you know what, let's chill a little bit. Let's take some time off. We can relax. And guess what, friends? There will be peacetime again. But right now, it's time to be leaning in. And so make sure that you're equipping and training those around you. And I want to really challenge you, if you're a parent, if you're a leader in your home, and if you have any kind of team, how are you equipping, training, and being a role model for those that are following you? The people that are following you matter so much. You don't want them to get shot in battle. You got to be leading and training right now.
So tip number 12 is wartime leaders are optimistic. You know, being optimistic is pretty obvious that you need to be, because if you're pessimistic about things, you're going to have a negative mindset. You're going to maybe make some wrong decisions because you're not going to have good habits. You're going to be wasting your time, not as productive. But being optimistic obviously can help you have a positive mindset, make the right decisions, to have the right actions, to have success, whether in your business or on YouTube. But remember, as a leader, you're not just being optimistic for yourself. You're being optimistic for who you lead and who you influence. So make sure you start every single day with the optimistic mindset, right? Again, this is why it's important to consume good things. I can tell you this morning, right when I woke up, of course, I'm grabbing coffee. I had my yogurt breakfast, but I'm listening to some motivational videos. And I know a lot of people give it a bad rap, like it's kind of artificial. I don't care. I love listening to Joel Osteen and him talking about how to succeed in life, right? How to have a positive mindset. Optimism is so important. As a leader, again, you're not just being optimistic for yourself, you're being optimistic for those who you're leading to help you make better decisions, have better actions, and have better results in your business.
And you might be thinking, Sean, Benji, what are the hacks though? I just want to get more YouTube views. These tips will get you more YouTube views. In fact, this is probably some of the most important information that we've ever shared on this channel, because you need to be a leader right now. Creators create, leaders lead, and we got to overcome fear and rise up. And when we double down on discipline and when we stay focused on our most important objectives, we will get better results even on YouTube, which brings us to tip number 13. And that's wartime leaders take care of their body, their mind, and their spirit. Well, Sean, I just want some hacks for YouTube. That's a hack for YouTube, because YouTube's all about you being in your most powerful, productive state. And so if you have low energy, if you're discouraged, if your mind's foggy, then how are you going to put out great content? And great content is what wins on YouTube. Practically, a lack of sleep will ruin your life. It really will. It'll make you less effective. Right now, it's like, oh, I'm locked down. I don't got to go anywhere tomorrow. Let me stay up a few extra hours. Well, that's going to compound into the next day and into the next day. And we don't want to be, this is like, you're like, my gosh, Sean and Benji, you're crazy in this one. Like, this is so, but it's for your benefit. Again, wartime is different than peacetime. And so as soon as this lockdown started and we really started to see the effect of this pandemic, this is information I was sharing with my team. This is information Benji and I were sharing with each other in the video influencers team. And we're thinking about, man, we need to respond different. It's kind of like if your neighbor's house is on fire, you don't just go, it's 6 p.m. We'll finish putting that out tomorrow. No, when there's a fire, you're on it until that thing is put out. Like when there's something that's happening that's different, it makes us in a different state. So I've been doubling down on discipline. I've been thinking, man, I can't miss my morning routine. I need to make sure I stay rested. I got too much stress, too much worry, too much pressure to really be operating as if it was peacetime. So wartime leaders protect their most important habits. What are your most important habits right now? What are the habits that you've maybe been letting slip, but if you were to get focused on those again and do just what you need to do, and I'm not talking about being crazy. I mean, Benji's like this super athlete. Like he does like cleans and all this CrossFit stuff and all this kind of stuff. He runs super fast, has all these record times. I jog around my neighborhood, like at a nice, like 9-minute and 30-second mile pace. It's really not that crazy, but it keeps me in shape. It keeps my mind firing. It gets me going with oxygen. It keeps me lean and mean. I'm careful what I eat during the week so that I have the most mental focus as possible. So that's why we had such a good April, even during wartime, because I was taking care of my body, taking care of my mind, taking care of my spirit. Sean, Benji, just tell me the YouTube strategy. This is a YouTube strategy. If you get better energy and creativity out of yourself, what's going to happen to your personal brand and business? It's going to blow up, but you got to focus on your most important habits.
You know, the reality is most of us already know what to do to crush it on YouTube. The reason we're not doing that is maybe the wrong mindset. We don't have the right energy. We're not motivated. So this is why these principles are so important to follow, even if they don't directly relate to a YouTube tactic or strategy. As Sean said, they will affect your decisions, your actions. So I'm excited to get into tip number 14, which is wartime leaders communicate effectively and double down on clear communication. You know, one of the number one tips we have in here is clarity. Clarity on your channel, clarity to your viewers, your subscribers on what your channel's about. And it's the same thing when it comes to your team or people you work with, contractors that help you create this content. If you're not clearly communicating what you want, what your vision is, how is anybody supposed to effectively follow you? So make sure you're very clear. I think part of this is just having a simple plan right now, right? Don't get into something complex. Right now, you know, in addition to all the things that we have to deal with because of this crisis, we've got to double down on content. And the way you double down is you scale things up. And the way you scale things up is you simplify. And part of all this is having a clear vision and communicating that to people. You know, Sean just recommended a podcast, and and they said it very well. They said, not only do you have to communicate clearly, you almost have to like become a broken record of what you're communicating. Don't feel like you've exhausted how many times you can tell your team what your plan is, what is your vision for your channel. So make sure you're clearly communicating what it is that you want to do to the people you're working with so you get the most out of their efforts.
Yeah, and if you're a solo creator right now and you're only doing everything all by yourself, you still got to have clear communication. Like, if you don't know what you're doing tomorrow, then you're not being a wartime leader. If you don't have like a plan in some kind of a calendar, whether you're using Google Calendars or some kind of a planner, I love you, but you're not leading right now. Like, if you don't know your plan for this next week, your game plan, then how are you possibly going to be effective? And so you got to think things through and look ahead and actually make a plan. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. If you're not communicating effectively with your spouse and the people around you, if your audience doesn't know what your intention is, what your goals and ambition are, if you haven't articulated your mission or your vision, by the way, I hope you're not getting discouraged. I hope you're getting challenged to just think, man, I got to be communicating effectively. Because think about it. In war, lack of clear communication gets people killed. Like when people aren't sure what the objectives are, or if there's confusion or hesitation. So you got to be like a laser right now. And if you have a team, this matters more than ever before. We realized, and we've probably all done this. If it's your job, you've maybe done this before at school. You go, oh, I thought the instructions on the school project were this, and the communication wasn't clear. You wasted your whole weekend doing the wrong thing. If you've ever worked at a job and they said, hey, do this, this, and this, and then your boss comes back to you and they go, you did it all wrong. And you go, well, I thought you said, and either they communicated wrong or you heard it wrong, but either way, there was a waste of time, there was a waste of resources, and during peacetime, oh, well, you could just maybe get started on the next day. You lost a little time, no big deal. But when it's wartime, man, minutes matter. And so clear communication, we are doubling down on personal communication where I'm managing, I look ahead at what I need to accomplish in a week and what's most valuable. And then especially if there's any kind of multi-channel, like Benji, this will hit me. I didn't have clear communication with Sonia this week on one of the nights when I was working late. She doesn't mind if I work a little late. All she wants, as you can imagine, come on ladies, was knowledge and clarity of what to expect, when to have dinner, and things like that. And so a lack of communication led to a skirmish. And maybe it was a little bigger than a skirmish. It was a little bit of a fight, right? And so that was just one thing between a husband and a spouse. Communication matters right now, influencers. So wartime leaders communicate effectively and they double down on clear communication.
Absolutely. And for the sake of clear communication and timing, we want to go ahead and wrap this up. Sean, if you have to go, all good. I can take it. But if you're going to stay on, we can blast through these. But tip number 15 is wartime leaders know that sacrifice is necessary. Let's be real. Everybody is feeling some sacrifice right now. The economy is crumbling. The world has halted. Businesses have to shut down. Incomes are lowering. Governments have to bail corporations out and people out. So the reality is everybody's going to have to make some kind of sacrifice. And if you're one of those people that are fortunate enough to be able to stay at home and work from home and have some extra time to be able to Netflix and chill or consume content or just like take it easy, I would urge you to make additional sacrifices. Because I can tell you, those people that are desperate, that are hungry, that are working really hard, it might not seem like it right now, but only in time, these people's actions are going to result in some high performances, some results where you're going to wish that you made sacrifices right now when you had the extra time. Sean is getting ready to have his first child. My wife is pregnant and is going to probably pop a baby out in the next 30 to 60 days. And both of our businesses, we're having to do some damage control. We've got some lost revenue in different areas. We have employees to take care of, but we're not only doing doing all those things and taking care of our families, obviously our wives, but we're also doubling down on content. That means we're sacrificing time for other hobbies of ours, other things that we could be doing. Don't get me wrong. Once in a while, we take a break with our wives. I was watching this new series called Waco on Netflix, but it's like 1 or 2 hours, and then I'm back to sleep, or I'm back on the grind, or I'm working. Making a sacrifice during this crisis is going to be so important, not only to get through what's going on right now, but to plant those seeds for future opportunities.
Sacrifice always precedes success. And if you want to be successful on YouTube, you want to be successful or even just survive and thrive during this time, you got to ask yourself, what are you willing to sacrifice? Do you need to sacrifice it forever? No, not necessarily. But we're talking about a particular season. We've been talking about being wartime leaders. And during wartime, we've had talks with our team that we might need to sacrifice weekends or sacrifice some time or work a little bit later here, because come on, we're all going through this as humans on planet Earth right now. We might need to do a little extra, put in a little extra. What's the little extra you can put in, and what are you willing to sacrifice during this season to set you up for success in the future? We have 2 more tips out of our 17 tips and attributes of wartime leaders and really wartime content creators. Come on. And we're not trying to be overly dramatic here. You might just say, hey, we're just making YouTube videos. Yeah, but our families are depending on us. I think that with the level of depression and with empathy, even suicide that's going up in the world, that's happening because of isolation. It's happening because of loneliness. It's happening because of economic devastation. And you've been given a message. You have a chance to help. You have the opportunity to contribute. How? With live streams, with videos, with simple decluttering that can give people a little peace of mind and a distraction and more peace in their home, with financial planning services, or with personal finance advice, with all kinds of different topics, or with simply helping people beat Reno on Final Fantasy VII. I got stuck so long on that freaking boss. I'm watching Google articles and YouTube videos so I could beat him when I'm taking a little bit of time off at night to play the greatest remake of one of my favorite games that's over 25 years old. Come on, Final Fantasy VII people. You got to be willing to sacrifice right now. And if you've been getting value out of this, hit the like button and let us know in the comments below which of these 17 tips about being a wartime leader you need to apply most. Do you need to double down on discipline? Do you need to just make sure you're sleeping? Do you need to maybe work on your optimism? But tip number 16 is wartime leaders rest and take time away. Here's the thing. During extended times of war, the generals, the infantry, people at every level still need to make sure that they rest and take time away. And up until this point, we've been pretty hardcore on all these tips, but this does not mean burn out. This does not mean burn the candle at both ends. This does not mean destroy your health. This means about being wise. And after seasons of extended hustle and putting out content or putting out videos or whatever it is you're creating, you need to make sure you're blocking time to rest. You need to take time away from work and for your team, even in order to see things clearly. Because sometimes when we're in the trenches, I don't know about you, editing, shooting, making videos, listening to the news, all these things coming at us, sometimes we even lose perspective and we don't necessarily know how to take a step back and really make smart chess moves in our business, in our brands, and with our YouTube channels. So my wife Sonia and I recently took 4 days. We stayed social distanced, drove over to Arizona, got an Airbnb. You might be really locked down and it might be tough, but you got to find a way to do a staycation, maybe a little mini vacation. One of the most refreshing things for you could be to just take an extended time of rest, sleep, come on, hydration, eat well, do whatever, get your mind off things so that you come back fresh. Because now we're learning in this lockdown that not only has it been like 2 months, but it might go multiple more months. You can't grind continuously. Wartime leaders are smart and they rest and they take time away.
So on that note, wartime leaders know when to rest, to take some time away, whether it's a few minutes, a few hours, whether it's a day or a whole week. because of point number 17. Wartime leaders know what they're fighting for, especially during those times where you can take a moment to take a breather or take a break, a moment of prayer. You can think about why you're doing all this. What is your motivation? What are you fighting for? Whether it's your family, whether it's to serve other people, whether it's a legacy that you want to create. Remember, the reason we have YouTube channels, the reason we have businesses is to serve somebody, to deliver some sort of value, whether it's a product, whether it's information, whether it's entertainment. So remember, if you can think of that as a leader, this is going to help motivate you. This is going to help plant the seeds of continued inspiration. This is going to give you the energy to get over these hurdles, get through these hard times. Think about what it is that you're doing all this for.
Yeah, I think this is my favorite point, number 17. Wartime leaders know what they are fighting for. What are you fighting for? Tell us in the comments, what is it that you are wanting to build a YouTube channel for, build your influence online for? Right now, maybe it is survival, and that's awesome. I remember back in 2010 when I started YouTube, I didn't have a big grandiose vision. I wasn't super purpose driven. I was trying to pay the bills and pay for medical bills with the health challenges that my wife was going through and that we were going through as a family. I was just trying to figure out how to make money online. Of course, I wanted to serve and help people, but I was in a survival mode. But over the years, I've really begun to learn that reasons come first, results come second. And that if you want to get results on YouTube and you really want to build a brand in a business, be an influencer, build a business around your YouTube channel, you have to have strong reasons that keep you motivated when you are under the fatigue of the pressure in the world right now, when you're experiencing the resistance and the challenges, and when you've posted 10 videos and every single one of those videos has gotten 3 views each. Are you going to keep going? The reason you will is because you know what you're fighting for. If you don't have a strong reason, you'll give up. I'm not going to do something unless I have a strong reason to do something that's hard and challenging. And Benji said it. Are you fighting for your family? Are you fighting to build a legacy? Are you fighting to help a particular kind of person? Are you fighting for those in need? Are you fighting for a group of people that you want to serve? My friends, if you weave greater purpose into your YouTube channel, if you attach greater mission to your YouTube channel, if you attach greater vision to your YouTube channel, it's going to lead to more motivation, and it will influence your subscribers. It will influence your views. If you even begin to articulate a bigger vision on YouTube, it will attract the subscribers that you're supposed to have. We've learned your vibe attracts your tribe. But what kind of vibe are you putting out? And is your vibe clear? And have you actually stated your purpose, your mission, your vision? You might say, Sean, I don't even know. That's pretty deep, bro. What? I'm not sure what that is. Take some time during this time to think about, why do you want to do this? What are your top 5 to 10 most important values? What are your I believe statements? What do you believe to be true about the world and about the universe that makes you unique and different? When you start getting clear and weaving mission and purpose into your channel, I've learned that, man, it affects your editing. It affects those who follow you. It affects those around you. Have I always been weaving this kind of stuff into my YouTube channel? No. I just started reviewing cameras, which it doesn't matter where you're starting, but there's something about knowing what you're fighting for so that you can get up every day and fight the good fight, especially in times right now when it matters at the highest level. A lot's going on, a lot of suffering, a lot of challenge, a lot of uncertainty, but I believe you're a role model. If you're watching this video and you're here at the end of this video, then you are here because you want to make a difference in the lives of people. You're somebody who is different. You're ambitious. You care about the world. You want to help. You want to serve. You're a purpose-driven entrepreneur. You're a purpose-driven content creator if you're watching this right now. And so I want to encourage you. We need you right now. We need thousands. We need tens of thousands of people watching content like this right now and then taking action and being vigilant. Creators create, leaders lead. This is your time to lead. And I hope these 17 tips will really give you the edge to think about how you can grow into your role as a role model, content creator, thought leader that helps and serves during a time when the world needs it most.
Boom. You know, this morning I woke up at 7 a.m. and I have to say, Sean, I hit the snooze button because I've been getting up anywhere from 5 to 7 a.m. every Saturday for almost the last year and a half. But the thing that got me going on the way to the studio was thinking about you who's watching right now. And I hope you got value out of this because that was my goal this morning. I can't speak for Sean. I'm sure it was the same. So thank you for being on here. This was a long little batch production moment for Sean and I. You know, we're both very busy and we do value our time with our families. So Sean, I'm all good. Let's try to get to 300 likes. We're literally 10 away and there's plenty of you watching. And this is the VI show. My name's Benji Travis. Sean, I'll leave it to you and then we'll end this broadcast.
Awesome. Yeah. Hey, Swedish Car Guy, Retro Nerd, Celine, Sweeney, Nia, thank you guys for hanging out on a Saturday. Really, really appreciate you. We hit it, Benji. 302 likes. Come on. Hey, thank you so much for being here. Content Creator Army, Shelbo, appreciate you.
I love the
Influencers
confetti.
community, we're so grateful for you. And man, love it because we got, you'll be able to see some of these videos, whether in the members area and of course some of the replays chopped up, but we appreciate you being here for this live taping, this live recording. And I want to encourage you, y'all, creators create. You've been consuming some good content. I hope this has been some good motivation. And tell me in the comments, what was an aha moment for you? What was like an unlock for you? What stood out? What did you like most? And how do you feel challenged? Do you need to go shoot a video right now? Do you need to maybe do some planning and plan out your next week? Just let me know what stood out to you. Nia wrote down the 17 tips. Appreciate that. I'm glad that was valuable. Love seeing the feedback, Luz and
Kapowich Real Estate is a member of the VI Club, so thank you so much for your continued support. And a lot of the extras are for members exclusively, or if you watch the VI show live. So I know, Sean, you got to get going. I probably should get going too. So everybody, take care, keep crushing it, and we'll talk to you next Saturday. Peace out.